Hey guys, what is up? It's Gosu here, back with another League of Legends YouTube commentary video. Today featuring VAYNE. Yeah, I forgot to. It's too late, but yeah. Well, you can kind of see the mastery page, and runes are the same as every other AD except Jhin. Flat attack speed, quints or attack speed quints, attack damage reds, armor yellows, MR blues. So yeah, I'm actually gonna be visiting my new home, or going to see it in Toronto tomorrow. So I thought I'd just make a quick video so that you guys have something to watch, because I won't be able to make content for like a couple of days since I'll be in Toronto and won't be able to stream. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of requests for VAYNE, so I thought I'd just go and make a informative commentary video about her. I'm not gonna turn on any music, but I will turn on the in-game music, because I see a lot of people complaining about how it's too boring to watch or whatever. It's just because I don't want to risk getting copyrighted, or so you can't see the video or whatever. I could use NCS music, but not generally a fan of all of their music, or most of it. So yeah, VAYNE. I mean, this isn't like an official guide or anything, and there's so much to talk about her. Like, there's just way too much information to just through one game. But I will try to explain what to do this game, and what to build and shit like that. Well, in general, the most common build for VAYNE is like Blade of the Rune King, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, Mercurial, Lord Dominic's. But I've been trying this build recently, going Yumu's into Trinity Force or Yumu's into Phantom Dancer. It's okay. I think it has a little bit of an early game power spike compared to Bork. But Bork generally gives you pretty good, safe laning phase, as well as it helps you deal with like high HP tanks, and it gives you a bunch of self peel. So I think if you're worried about what to build on VAYNE and you're always unsure, I think going Blade of the Rune King is probably the most safest and most optimal build. So that's what we're gonna do this game. For the skills, generally it kind of comes down to preference or lane. Maxing W gives you the most damage. Maxing Q gives you mobility. It does give you slight damage, but not as much as if you max silver bolts. So mobility and so yeah, if you want more mobility, you max Q, and it also allows you to get off more stealth opportunities. But I always end up maxing W every time I go in attack speed item first. So I think what you want to do always is, depending on if you start off as an AD item, like if you go Yumu's first, then I'd recommend maxing Q. Otherwise, I just start off maxing W. So yeah, this game, let's see, Blitz VAYNE versus Bard Ezreal. Yeah, this lane isn't really that good for me right now. What I want to do is, mostly 90% of VAYNE games, all you want to do is just farm and try and carry you a game or mid game. So that's what I'm gonna do. So you have a Blitz, which is a melee support, so you can't really trade that early, especially as VAYNE, and especially not versus Bard, because Bard's level 1 is extremely strong in the lane. So yeah, I want to try my best to just CS and farm up. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to let Blitz make the plays or opportunities. So I'm just last hitting. Usually versus an Ezreal, it's actually a decent idea. If you think you're going to play aggressive versus him, it's a pretty good idea in general to push against him. Because, for him to do damage, he requires you to not be in front of creeps. Because I didn't actually kill that minion, so they're gonna hit level 2 before me. So I just have to stay back.
The dark should fear me.
So yeah, since Ezreal, you know, requires you to actually hit your Qs, you can just stay behind minions the whole time. You can actually put a lot of pressure on him by pushing the lane. But I think I'm just gonna farm. Alright, I fucked that up. Okay, I don't know what's going on there.
Beware.
I wasn't really watching. Unlucky. So yeah, this is kind of like the downside of playing Vayne. You don't have that much lane pressure. So if your team is falling behind, or you know, you're losing lane and your entire team is losing the map, then I'd say that you have a really low chance of winning or carrying the late game, because it takes a really long time for you to get items. Also, I could harass more, I guess, but in reality versus better players, it's not a good idea to harass as Vayne. Especially not with the melee support, because most of the time you'll always get out-traded. Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot to turn on the in-game sound. Okay, let me just grab these. Okay, wow, nice. That was a really good hook. Alright, I'll turn on the in-game music so it's less awkward. So yeah, last hitting, pretty straightforward. You just kill the creeps to like as low as possible, when it's as low as possible, to make sure that, you know, the wave is freezing or pushing towards you. I could go back here, actually. This is a pretty good freeze, but I'll just stay. So if you want to hold a freeze, pretty much what you need to do is have around 4 extra creeps on their side. So that means the wave is going to push towards you. But the wave is fucked up now, so it's not even a freeze. So like in advanced levels, and I'm actually not really good at this myself, because I never, like, you know, really went too deep with like learning about the lane and creeps and shit, but there's like tons of YouTube tutorial guides which you can search up. But wave manipulation and, you know, controlling the creeps is really, really important in League during laning phase. So I'd suggest probably just searching up like lane manipulation in bot lane or something. There's probably like tons and tons of guides, and it'll teach you like how to, you know, last hit, well, not last hit, but like it'll teach you how to correctly kill as many creeps as you need to, or, you know, not more than you need to, etc. But for the most part, if you want to hold a freeze, you should just, like, let's say this wave is, this is a good freeze for me because it's pushing towards me. But you also want to make sure that it's not too big to the point where, you know, it's gonna push your wave and then it's gonna crash under tower. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna thin it a little bit. Also, I'm playing really passive. Which is okay, because I have a blitzcrank. I could be trading, making small trades with Ezreal. I'm not really paying attention though. So this is an okay freeze. I would have liked to have one more creep. My CSing isn't that well either. So yeah, just remember that the most important thing about playing AD is that in general you just need to CS really well and not give up free kills, because when you give up free kills, that means that the enemy will snowball, but you can just scale with items, so just try and CS well. Okay. You could go for a hook, but then Ezreal will E out. But I think that's fine, because that's like his only escape. Okay, nice. I don't know if he had flash, but since Ezreal already backed out, he was our only target. Oh yeah, also for the build path, in general I think it's not that efficient to go Cutlass first. I'd probably recommend like going Vamp into daggers, or if you can get dagger into recurve bow, that's probably the best route. It's like getting a Sheen in tier for Ezreal, because Cutlass is okay, but cannot show what he was trying to do there. I guess he thought that I hadn't back, so he was up in items. But in reality, he only has a Sheen, so his only real damage is his Q. Or his Sheen procs from W. So my CS is looking okay. It could be better. Okay, I don't need that many pinks. Oh yeah, buying pinks is really important. Like, that was a really bad pink that I just put. I should have put it over here, but buying pinks is really important for laning, because it helps you to snowball the lane, or you know, it helps you get control. So you know, your junglers or mid or whatever can roam down. And if you're snowballing the lane, like you're winning the lane, and then you buy pinks, like that's gonna put extra pressure on them. And you have, you know, vision of their jungler, etc. Also, yeah, I don't know if I said this in my last video, but it's really important to try and get first tower nowadays. Ever since the patch change, I don't remember which one, but there was one that, you know, it gives you 400 extra gold for first solo kill, or first tower kill, first blood basically. So VAYNE, it's pretty hard to get a tower kill with VAYNE. Okay, they just took. They already took the mid tower. So Ziggs probably got like 650 gold, which is like almost nearly 2 kills, just because of that first blood. He got his flash. That was weird. I probably could have just killed him there. So yeah, the things that I could have done better this lane, I played way too passive, even though it was a blitz lane. I mean, which isn't bad, because playing passive is pretty important. But there was small trades that I could have made for Ezreal to get even more pressure in the lane. Like for example, if you're behind a creep and Ezreal is trying to get a CS, you can actually like auto tumble forward and then get 2 hits off, or even condemn him or go for a third one, which is a little bit greedy, but yeah, it could work. And then you make small trades like that, and then it gets to the point where you can actually start zoning them because they're really low and you've poked them out pretty well. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty common for players to pick Ezreal after Blitz has been picked, because they think of it as like a counter pick, because you can E out of the Blitz hook, right? But in reality, what you can do with Blitz is actually just try to go as close as to them as possible, and then silence, and then Q them. Not that that's what happened right there, but it's just a trick that you can use. I'm dead. Oh, I got the creep. Alright, worth. Okay, I should have just backed out there. I was waiting for Darius to come so I could condemn, but I didn't see Eve. That was my bad. Oh yeah, and another thing that you have to keep in mind. I think I also talked about this in the Ezreal video, but usually beforehand, before the game starts, you want to try to just keep in mind all of their summoners and keystone masteries, so you know what you're up against. Because sometimes you're like, oh wait, I didn't know that he had exhaust or ignite or whatever, or that they had double TP. So it's really important to keep that in mind as soon as you get into the loading screen, so you know what you're up against, and just keep track of those two. Usually high-elo players like to time them. I don't really give a fuck though nowadays, so you should if you want to though. Definitely helps. Okay, so what do we do now, right? Like, we have 2 towers. I'd say that I think it's probably better to just keep splitting, personally, until you get more items, because my team has a lot of map pressure. In general though, it's holy shit. It's the fucking jackpot. In general though, you have to make sure that you don't always keep split pushing, because if your team is losing the map and you have a decent lane advantage or like an item or something, you might want to start grouping. So it kind of just depends on the circumstances. But you don't have to always start grouping. If you think your team's like... That's not good. Oh, okay. That works. I'd say that's worth. I still think it's worth. Also, this doesn't really apply to VAYNE, but it can sometimes. Usually, if you have a lane advantage, then you'll want to try to rotate to mid or top lane. But you have to just keep in mind that what do they have? Like, if they have a lot of wave clear mid, then you might want to just stay bot or switch to top lane. Just ask your top laner to switch. So basically, what you want to do is snowball your lead and try to put pressure in other lanes and then help the team out. Because like I get a lot of questions like, oh my god, I'm always ahead in lane and you know, I have a bunch of kills, but my team's always feeding. So other than the fact that you have to always keep in mind that, you know, it's not always in your control. So you might end up losing more games, but you just have to remember that while not every game is winnable, there's always certain things that you can do to you know, help your team out. Also, duoing with a support player is actually really important too. I don't really do it nowadays, but if you're stuck in an elo or something, that's definitely like 100% gonna help you out.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Evil lurks around beware.
For some reason I thought he'd flashed. But that's fine. Working out for flash. Ziggs is probably gonna still be here, so we can't push this down.
The shadows are to be feared.
Man, I wish I could play some Nijabes for these videos. But they're fucking copyrighted. Oh, that was really sad. I didn't get a crit.
I smell black magics.
But yeah, all of the Nijabes videos are fucking copyrighted. Feels bad, man.
Cleansing blood with silver.
Holy shit, the god. Also, yeah, if you're wondering what are some good supports for VAYNE, Blitz and Bard are one of the worst possible for her. And Morgana is kind of a little iffy too, because she doesn't actually have that much like 1v2 potential. Okay, I still don't know what he was trying to do there either. But yeah, the best supports for VAYNE are Nami, Lulu, Soraka, maybe Janna, and Braum is okay too. Janna, I think, is really bad, like in lane, because it's really easy to pop Janna's shield and then you're basically 1v2. Okay, that was bad. Sorry, it's the first game of the day. But yeah, I think Lulu is actually really decent now with the recent buffs. Yeah, if you don't like the Bork build, you can actually go Yumu's too. I think it's really good. It's just a little risky for lane, I think, if you fall behind. You know, like, maybe you get a couple of points into W and then max Q with Yumu's. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for taking towers too, since your Q works on towers now. And armor pen works on towers too.
Evil lurks around every corner.
Okay, this game is really... it's pretty over at this point, I'd say. That's not enough for them to come back. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and buy. But usually, I'd say... Okay, yeah, so one thing I want to say is that VAYNE is a really fun champion, okay? But she's not good. Like, she is a completely shit champion. So I'm saying, like, if you're 100% focused on winning, or you know, like you're stuck in an elo but you want to climb out, VAYNE is not a good pick. Just keep that in mind. I think VAYNE is really fun to play. Sometimes she can go off, but most of the time against like competent players, she's really hard to pull off. And a lot of it also depends on your support jungle, you know, like team comps and shit like that. So I think if you know how to play her in lower elo, she can work, but for the most part, I'd say just go to a site like champion.gg or something and just look at the 80 carries that have the highest win rate, and then just pick one and then just one-trick that shit. And that's like a great way to just climb out of an elo or get to high elo. That's how most high elo players got to high elo, pretty much. They just, you know, one-tricked. And then they expanded their champion pools from there. So I really do not recommend playing VAYNE or like maining her, or unless you just like, you really like the champion. But if your main goal is to get out of an elo and you're stuck there, just don't play VAYNE, because it's not gonna help at all. She's a really bad champion. Like, even the best players in the world sometimes play VAYNE and then they just like end the game with like 10 deaths in solo queue. Like I was watching him play Vayne, and he was like 0-4 or some shit. And then the entire game just snowballed, and he was like trying his best to farm, or like AFK farm, and the game just snowballed way too fast. Double Lift also went like 0-6 the other day. He did come back though, so that was okay, but for the most part she's just extremely risky. Like as a champion, it doesn't matter how good you are with her. As a champion, she's just, you know, really weak. Holy shit, the damage. So yeah, 90% of the time you're playing Vayne, you're gonna be down like, you know, 20, 30, 40 CS in lane. You're gonna be trying to farm. The enemy ADs is gonna be like snowballing, taking towers, getting kills and shit. So yeah, she's extremely risky. She's still really fun to play though, and that's why I really like her. So this game was kind of weird, and you guys didn't really actually get to see that much, but might do another Vayne game in the future. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this little commentary, informative tutorial video. I don't even know if it helped you at all, but yeah, if you guys like this video, then make sure to leave a thumbs up, and thanks to, you know, all of the subscribers and shit for watching and liking my videos. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. So bye.